So I can be a little bit bougie when it comes to the consumption of certain substances, and I had a New Year's Eve party, and one of my favorite things that I've found in exploring this taste testing and sensory world is a love of champagne. Now, Champagne is a particular region in France, and the term champagne is protected to refer to any of the material produced within that region. So for the New Year's party, I said, please, the price of entrance is a bottle of champagne. And of the 7 different groups of people that I invited, I got 7 bottles of Prosecco. Now, this highlights a difference between the regulatory reality of champagne production and the consumer perception of that material. So the lay consumer, folks that weren't as much of a bougie bitch as I was, decided that Prosecco and champagne were basically the same, and you can understand why, given some of the marketing of these materials and the way that they're sold at the grocery store, that someone without additional experience in this industry or an understanding of these materials would think that Prosecco is champagne. The exact opposite is true in cannabis, where the connoisseur consumers don't even have the protections in the regulatory platform to ensure that they are purchasing what they've intended to purchase. Instead, there's a lack of product understanding within the regulations of cannabis, and there is no protection for the analogy of champagne. I think that it's important that we consider what these protections look like from a regulatory standpoint and how we can get them into cannabis as fast as possible. So the first one is appellation. So champagne is an appellation of wine. It is being produced in that Champagne region, and it has to hit certain product qualities in order to be considered champagne, while being from that region. Cannabis deserves the same protection. If there's something from Humboldt that is grown outdoor in Humboldt, I don't want to buy LA indoor flower that calls itself Humboldt grown. I want to make sure that when I'm purchasing Humboldt grown material, that it comes from Humboldt County, California. The same thing that can be said about Southern Oregon and a few other cannabis producing regions in the United States. But as we look for what is the future of this industry, hopefully there's international trade of some of these materials. And if the hashish is from Morocco, I want to know that it's Moroccan hashish and not hashish made in the style of Moroccan hashish from Humboldt County. The same thing's true for Afghanistan or Colombia, where cannabis can be grown in several different environments, and I want to taste what is coming out of that region because of that region's particular qualities. So this is something that cannabis can aspire to grow into, and that we have to look to other industries in order to figure out what is the model that we should be pushing forward to. And the consumer point is the whole point. My friends didn't know the difference between Prosecco and champagne, but it was listed on every bottle, and there is the capacity to tell the difference between these two things if you know what you're looking for. That's all we need for cannabis. We don't need every consumer to understand the ins and outs of rosin versus resin or Humboldt outdoor versus indoor. We need the consumers who care to be able to find that information when they need it, and we need the producers who care to have the legal protections in order to make their material as special as it deserves to be.